Welcome to the Context Machine, episode number 725. I'm Bryan Chaffin.
And I'm Jeff Gamet. And hey, you should go check us out on our online home at contextmachine.io.
You can also use contextmachine.io to reach out to us, or you can find us on Threads at Context Machine Podcast, or on Blue Sky at contextmachine.bsky.social.
Also, exciting news. Our sponsor today is MacPaw.
Oh, that is exciting news. We're going to tell you more about them later in the show.
I think that sounds like a great plan. Also, for those of you that haven't signed up for our newsletter yet, stop procrastinating. It's just a once a week thing. And instead of being just a rehash of what's in the show, we talk about other things that are interesting to us and to all of you.
Yeah. I do recommend that. And you can find us on YouTube too. If you're not watching us on YouTube now, you can actually watch us on YouTube. We've got the link in the show notes.
Oh, I think that sounds fantastic.
Yeah,
I think we've got all our bases covered. By the way, nice mug, Bryan.
Oh, thank you. Oh, this one? Yeah.
Yeah. I hear everything tastes better in a Context Machine mug.
Yeah.
Contextmachine.io/merch.
Yeah, that's true. It does. All right. So today we've got two topics indirectly brought to us by your recent trip to the BlackHat conference in Vegas.
Okay. So what I just heard is I'm so glad that I could milk Jeff for information. We'll turn that into a show.
That's true.
I mean, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. That's must be Wednesday.
I'm looking. Yep. Must be Wednesday. All right. So I kind of had a surprise experience for myself at BlackHat, which is why I wasn't here last week. And Jeff Butts was sitting in for me. By the way, Jeff, thank you very much for stepping up and taking one for the team and working with Bryan. I mean, for being here and filling in for me with Bryan.
That's all fair. All fair.
Yeah, you rock, Jeff. So thank you for that. So yeah. Anyhow, I was at BlackHat. And because I didn't need to actually be recording podcasts or doing anything related to podcast specific using my own equipment, I left my MacBook Pro at home and traveled with my M5 iPad Pro. I have the 13-inch model, and I picked it up after Mac stock. So it's still a new device for me.
Oh, I didn't realize you got a new MacBook Pro, iPad Pro.
Oh, I did. All right. So super quick. Before Mac stock, I already knew that my iPad Pro that I bought in 2018, first model with USB-C for the iPad Pro, it was I was past due for needing to replace it, but I was able to continue working with it, and it was okay. But it became obvious to me during Mac stock that I really, really needed to replace it. So when I got back, I did. And now I have the M5 MacBook Pro 13-inch.
This pained look on my face is about buying a new iPad or iPhone a month before, 5 weeks before Apple does a media event where they could announce new iPads or iPhones?
Well, they will announce new iPhones. You notice I didn't buy one of those. I do not expect a MacBook, or excuse me, an iPad Pro announcement to come along with the iPhone announcement.
They have done some iPad announcements in the fall, though.
That's true. But we're also at the point, well, not at the point, just in general, buy the device you need when you need it, as opposed to always waiting for the next thing, because then you never replace your device because there's a newer one coming out.
But there is that, and there is waiting an extra 4 or 5 weeks. Just to be sure.
And
anyway, but you didn't do that. You decided to buy one this week or last week, 2 weeks ago. So it's new.
Oh, it's been a month ago
Uh,
because I bought it right after MacStock.
wasn't that 2 weeks ago? I don't even know.
Well, sure, Brian, it was 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I just got back from my flight from MacStock. Anyhow, so when I went to BlackHat, I traveled with my iPad Pro and left my MacBook Pro at home.
Mm.
And after getting back from that event, I realized that my strategy that I'd put together for when I replaced the MacBook Pro may have been flawed.
Go tell us about that strategy first. Where
Okay,
were you?
So that strategy was when I replace my MacBook Pro, whenever that is, I'm going to replace it with two computers. A Mac Mini for my desk setup, and then a MacBook Neo for my portable computer. Because I won't need to be doing podcast recording with my own equipment when I'm out and about and on the go.
Fair enough.
So why should I have the entire production studio device going with me everywhere?
Well, I've got an answer to that. The answer to that is what if and maybe and because you can. I mean, those are legitimate answers to that question.
They absolutely are. But, I was thinking, for the money that I'm going to spend, getting the two devices would give me much more flexibility in how I use my equipment.
And you're also, with this previous strategy, you're also going to have an iPad Pro.
And I would also have an iPad Pro.
That is filling a different niche in your head at that time.
At that time, yes.
Yeah.
So what I did when I bought the new iPad Pro, I did exactly what I did when I bought the previous one and the one before that, which is I buy the iPad, I buy the whatever keyboard case I need to go along with it, and I get my Apple Pencil to go along with it. So it's like across the board.
Pencil, did you?
Yeah, but I need an Apple Pencil Pro 2 for the new iPad.
Oh, okay. And you didn't have that yet. So, all right.
Right.
So you got that.
So I got the whole. I got the whole package. Traveled with that to BlackHat, and all of the work that I needed to do
At BlackHat.
At BlackHat, and traveling out there, traveling back, worked so well on the iPad Pro that by the time I got back, I was questioning when I replaced the MacBook Pro, whenever that is, if I need to buy two computers. I think what I need to do is replace the MacBook Pro with a souped up Mac Mini and just call it good. And the iPad Pro is now my portable computer instead of a MacBook as a portable computer.
That's interesting. So it's a pretty major shift.
It's a huge shift because up until now, the iPad has been a secondary device for me. And
the iPad is, I think even more so for you than for me, has largely been a device of convenience.
Yeah, a device of convenience, but also an art tool.
An art tool, sure.
And now I'm looking at it like, no, this is actually a viable alternative to a laptop for me. And I'm thinking that in a couple months, when we have iPad OS 27, that it will be even more so a legit replacement for a laptop for me.
Fantastic. That's super interesting.
I was not expecting this.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And so you I know what you're doing at a conference because, I've done conferences with you. And I mean, we've both done conferences in a jillion conferences in the past.
And many of them together.
And many of them together. But that's irrelevant. Why don't you tell our listeners and watchers everything that you did during this trip from a professional production standpoint?
Okay. So started with needing to write content.
Okay. Like
and
articles.
like articles.
Okay.
And with the keyboard, I can type instead of having to touch on screen for that. The built-in trackpad in Apple's keyboard case, it like immediately that completely shifted how I approached working with whatever app I was using. Because now, instead of reaching up and tapping, I'm using the trackpad, and it kind of reinforced to me the idea that Apple shipping a MacBook with a with a touchscreen doesn't make a lot of sense, because as soon as I could switch to using a trackpad on the iPad, if I wasn't doing something that directly required touchscreen stuff, I just used the trackpad, and it was great. Okay, so lots of writing.
So you took your trackpad with you, or does the keyboard have?
No, it's built into the keyboard.
Oh,
Apple's keyboard case has a trackpad built in now.
I didn't realize that.
And it's a backlit keyboard now too.
Cool.
And it has a USB port on the side of the keyboard, so I can plug in and charge from the keyboard USB port while I have, say, an external drive plugged in to the USB port on the iPad proper.
So did you not find yourself ever reaching towards the screen to tap stuff?
No, not really. I mean, occasionally I would, but
really,
it's because
no?
it was when I was reaching for the screen to do something, it was because it was a touch specific element.
Okay. Yeah. So did you have to do that? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, I did.
Okay, that's interesting.
But it wasn't something I was doing very often.
Yeah, I'm your thing about shipping a MacBook without a touch sensitive screen doesn't make sense. Sorry, shipping a MacBook shipping a MacBook with a touch sensitive screen doesn't make sense in your estimation. But I'm hearing that you did need to do it on your iPad. Similarly, I think that there are people who would do that on a MacBook. I mean, like, do you remember we talked about my educator friend in Australia years ago?
Yeah.
And what she saw with kids in particular is that they would reach out and touch their screens.
If that's the only device they've ever used. Yes,
that's the point. That is the case with a lot of newer people in the world. People who aren't 60-year-old dudes.
Okay, and that's fair. Now, what I found as the days went on was that there were places where I had reached up without thinking and done something on the screen, like a pinch or zoom, where it's like, and each time I did it, it was like, that was really annoying.
Mm-hmm. Interesting.
And then, but for a lot of those things, it was like, oh, wait a second, I've got a trackpad in front of me that I can do gestures on. So I was actually actively looking for the places where I didn't need to use my fingers on the screen, because it was surprisingly disruptive to what I was doing to stop, take my hands off the keyboard, reach up and touch the screen, and then put my hands back down on the keyboard.
Okay. And back to your broader point, we actually got derailed. Hello,
we did.
I'm Bryan. It's nice to meet you.
Yeah.
You were telling us all the things you were doing from a production professional standpoint on this trip away from your home, and so we got to writing articles and using your keyboard and using your trackpad.
I'm using the trackpad.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I did a couple web meetings. Those were on Zoom. There's an iPad native Zoom app. The camera is now positioned for being centered when you have your iPad in landscape mode versus portrait mode, which is good, because it used to be that you'd look weird. You'd look to the side to the camera, or you wouldn't look at the camera at all. And that's not a thing anymore. So that worked flawlessly. Then I had to do some image editing, like put together a couple graphics, and I was able to do that on my iPad. Now, for those sorts of things,
What were you using?
for those, and this is where it was cool. So I was using Procreate for that.
Okay.
And I just took the iPad off its keyboard case stand, grabbed my Apple Pencil, and held the tablet as a tablet,
Right.
and did my work that way.
And then it's easy enough to change in and out of that keyboard case that wasn't a hassle.
It's
guessing.
not a hassle at all. You just grab it and pull it off. It's held in magnetically, and it's held in very firmly. But because of the angles of everything, you can just like rock it up and off the case very quickly. And so then I did my art stuff, put it back on the keyboard stand, and then took those graphics and dropped them into the cloud folders that they needed to be in, and excuse me. Then, so I did web meetings, I did graphics. The one thing that I didn't do, which I knew I wouldn't be doing anyhow, it was plugging in external microphones and recording directly from my equipment. Now, if I needed to do something like that, I could, but I have discovered over the past few years when I'm traveling, recording podcasts on the road is not something that's happening, or if it does, it's in a situation where I'm not using my own equipment.
Right. What about recording interviews and stuff?
Recording what?
Interviews. Did you do any video interviews with anyone?
Oh, yeah. I did a whole series of video interviews for Dark Reader magazine, but that was all with their equipment. So they had a professional film crew there.
Oh, cool.
And my job was to get mic'd up and conduct the interviews.
Okay, so you didn't do any interviews on your own?
No,
okay.
But if I had, I would have done those with my iPhone, and then I would have taken the content, dropped it onto my iPad, where I would have used, if it was a video interview, presumably it would have been, I would have used LumaFusion. That's my video editor of choice. Anyhow, it's an iPad app.
Got it. All right. Well, so you are. This is a significant change, not only from a practical, mechanical standpoint, but from an expense standpoint too.
Yes, because I'm cutting the cost of a MacBook Neo out of my future purchase plans.
You're cutting the price of a MacBook Pro down to a mini.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's a significant cost difference. Even if you're gonna get more RAM or more storage, or a beefier processor on that mini, that's significantly less than a good MacBook Pro.
That's true. Yeah. Now, granted, to get a 13-inch iPad Pro with with Apple's keyboard case, a new Apple Pencil, and I got the 512 gig storage. That's with taxes. I mean, you're pushing $1,300. So you're talking about laptop costs right there. But considering that this now becomes the laptop replacement, I won't be buying two computers at my next purchase.
It's also one less device to manage. One less device to manage. One less device to have to worry about updates and making sure you've got all the apps that you need it's this greatly simplifies your tech life in a way that feels like it's not compromising anything.
And yes, I agree. Yeah. I also get longer battery life than I would on a Neo. I have a significantly more powerful processor. I have more flexibility overall in how I use the device, because I can use it as a laptop, or I can use it as a graphics tablet, because I have all of the features.
Yeah, right.
And
that's pretty cool, man.
It's a nicer display too than the Neo, which is not to bag on the Neo. It's just you have that nice old, I believe it's an OLED display on the iPad Pro.
Yeah. All right. Well, congratulations for finding that out. And
Sure thing.
yeah, and I look forward to you moving over to the Mac Mini. And are you going to sell your Pro, by the way, your MacBook Pro?
When I decide it's time to replace it, yeah, then I'll sell the MacBook Pro, and it's an M2 MacBook Pro. And even though we're up to the M5s right now, it works so well, I can't justify replacing this computer.
Yeah, right. Fair enough.
But I'll be able to get a lot more computer for less money when I replace this and get a Mini.
All right. How about you tell us about MacPaw?
Oh my gosh, I would actually love to tell you about MacPaw.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So here's the deal. MacPaw, they make Clean My Mac, which is super useful for your Mac because it does exactly what it says, but it does so much more. They have a new feature that a lot of people aren't aware of called My Activity, and what My Activity does is it shows you how much space is being used on your drive, but then how much you're reclaiming over time, and then basically what it's doing is it's letting you know how much time you're saving by not having to do all of these maintenance things yourself. So you actually have a quantitative tool to let you keep track of all the stuff you would otherwise be doing, but Clean My Mac is taking care of for you. And here's the thing a lot of people don't know about. They also have their own anti-malware tool called Moonlock. So if you need to protect your Mac from malware and you're already using Clean My Mac, you have the tools you need right there. So here's what you need to do. You really need to get on to Clean My Mac. So get tidy today. Try 7 days free using our code, which is Context Machine, all uppercase letters. Context Machine, that's going to get you 20% off. And to get that discount, you need to go to our special link. And that URL, it also lets them know that you heard about us or about their products here. And that's important for us and for them. So cleanmy.com/context machine. And don't forget to do context machine in all uppercase letters, cleanmy.com/context machine to get that 7 days free and your 20% off. And thank you to Clean My Mac for being our sponsor.
Yeah, we both like Clean My Mac. I want to
Yes.
specifically add, we like MacPaw and we like Clean My Mac. And this is a fantastic. If you're not using Clean My Mac, you should be using Clean My Mac.
I agree.
Yeah. All right. So our second topic again comes courtesy of your trip to the BlackHat conference, and that's actually talking about the conference itself. And what I heard as you were, like blah blah blah. I worked, blah blah blah, did stuff, is that AI was dominating everything that was going on at this BlackHat conference.
Yeah, which is no surprise. AI is the hot topic for basically every conference.
Yeah.
But this conference, I feel like it was a little different because of recent events, and specifically the OpenAI incident where their AI models broke free of their sandbox and went on their own spree to solve problems they'd been given that were essentially impossible to solve under the parameters they were operating under. So yes, AI was the big topic, and it spread itself out across the different facets of that. Like how is AI being used to potentially compromise all of your company assets? And then how?
So who is saying things like that?
Okay, so there were a bunch of sessions.
Yeah.
About security, and BlackHat, this security conference, it really focuses more at the business level and the corporate level, because the people that are there, they're there because they make the tools that protect companies, or they're companies that are looking for the tools they need to protect themselves.
So are we talking about corporate shills? Are we talking about corporate mouthpieces?
I'm sure there's some of that there because, hey, it's a conference, but not really. What you're seeing are the companies that provide the services. They're there on the expo floor, and there's big expo floor that goes along with BlackHat. Then you have industry experts that are talking about the issues, the trends, the solutions, where the problems really are, and what's been going on with recent or past events, how that plays into what's happening now.
Because the BlackHat conference used to be like a lot of independent researchers.
Well, and that's still there, but a lot of that also happens at DEF CON.
Yeah, that's true.
And as a matter of fact, you will actually get the same speakers at BlackHat and DEF CON.
Sure.
And what I was told is that you'll have a speaker at BlackHat and they'll give you a presentation. And then they give the same presentation at, or the same topic at DEF CON, but they're approaching it from different perspectives.
Mm.
So you can have the same presenter and get a much broader perspective on a specific topic if you happen to go to both conferences and see their presentations at both.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, so that's who's presenting this, and then I interrupted you again. Hi, I'm Bryan.
Hey, Bryan.
You were talking to us about what they were actually saying.
Yeah. So one of the big topics, of course, was the OpenAI incident.
Yeah.
And there was...
We talked about that 2 weeks ago.
Yes, we did. And it would have been great if I had been able to fit into my schedule going to the session where OpenAI went through everything that they know so far, and they were incredibly transparent. And the detail that they offered about the incident and what happened, what they learned, and what they're doing now, they were so open and transparent that even though there were significant parts of the presentation, I've been told, that were very negative towards their own company, they still presented the information. They let people know where they failed.
Well, that's good, I guess.
Well, I mean, it's good in that that transparency is important, and it's good in that they're letting everyone know, here are the mistakes that we made.
Right.
Now everyone else is aware of these mistakes, and they can hopefully not make the same mistakes.
This isn't going to stop the AI bubble from bursting.
Oh, no, absolutely
not. That's great. So that's what they did. And I mean, like, was Apple there? Was Google there? Was Microsoft there?
If I'm sure Apple was there, but not in an official sense.
Right.
So I didn't actually encounter any Apple people at this event.
Right. So there were no Apple booths. There were no Apple sessions. Apple sponsored or focused.
Yeah, but I'm sure Apple had people there.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I mean, how would they not?
Yeah.
Google was definitely there.
And
Microsoft was there. And our good friends, When Password, they were there. So
nice.
That was cool to see them.
Yeah. We mentioned them in the last, the last newsletter.
Yeah.
The newsletter that went out this week.
For everyone that's watching on video, they were giving out little rubber duckies. So I have a little black rubber ducky that has the One Password logo on its chest. They had a bunch of different colors.
Gotcha.
So what I found interesting was that the companies like Microsoft and Google that were there, they weren't talking about what you would expect them to talk about at any other conference, meaning their flagship operating system products. They were talking about their security services.
Interesting.
And they were very focused on that and not on their own operating systems.
That makes sense. So the services that they peddle to third parties looking to beef up their own security. That's what they were pushing.
Yes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Amazon was there, which in context makes sense because they have AWS and which is their cloud service platform.
Mm-hmm.
So they were talking about that. Cloudflare was there, no surprise at all.
Right.
And anyhow, a lot of the big name companies that you would expect to see at an event like this talking about their security products, they were there. This will come as no surprise. I did not see anyone from Meta there.
Do you know that for a fact that they weren't there?
I'm sure they were there in the same way that Apple was there, where they bought passes for certain employees and just sent them to the conference.
Right. That's interesting in that they have delusions of being an AI company, and they have delusions of being a hardware company too. They have delusions of somehow, please, Lord, make us as relevant as Apple is.
Yeah, but they don't have a security platform.
No, they don't, but they do have products that rely on being secure or rely on us not knowing that they're not secure.
Well, then in that case, they would be talking to the other vendors, exhibitors that were there,
Yeah,
about using those products for their own security.
I see. All right. Any other observations?
I didn't know what to expect overall from this event. Like what would the vibe be? Would it be like super uptight, people that if they saw me walking around without a tie on, that they'd be like, "Oh,
The BlackHat conference?
Here?" And okay, and your reaction totally makes sense because everyone thinks BlackHat and DEF CON are the same thing. And they are definitely not. BlackHat is a conference for the corporate world. DEF CON is a conference for the people that are like deep into the technical stuff about security and hacking.
So, did you get any slanty, sketchy looks for not wearing a tie?
I did not.
Okay.
It was a really nice casual mix. There were people.
Thus, my face being appropriate. But go ahead, please.
Yeah, very very well done. Yeah. No, there are people walking around in their what I call corporate casual. Their sport coats and khakis and their button-up shirts that don't have the top button done. And there are people walking around in their cargo shorts with their t-shirts that have some clever privacy or security thing on them.
Yeah, next year I want you to get a gray cowboy hat, and I want you to get a shirt that says "Morally Ambiguous," and I want you to wear that to everything you do.
Okay, I can do that.
All right, excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Yeah.
All right,
okay.
Jeff.
Before we move on, though, here's my advice for people that want to go to BlackHat.
Yeah.
Plan the time and the budget to go to BlackHat and DEF CON. They overlap. The tail end of BlackHat and the lead end of DEF CON. They overlap.
That makes sense.
So go so that you can experience both events. And I didn't get to go to DEF CON, but I rode on my flight out with some people that were going to DEF CON, and I did talk to quite a few people at BlackHat that do both, and they were telling me what the experience is like. And yeah, you want to do both. And then as a bonus, Star Trek Las Vegas lands in the middle of both of those. So I got to connect for a couple hours with our good friend Ken Ray from macOS Ken.
Oh, very good. He was there for Star Trek, of course.
He was there for Star Trek, and it was super cool to get to hang out with Ken. Hi, Ken.
Yeah, Ken's great. All right, Jeff, I think we have a show. Do you agree?
I agree. I think you should hit buttons.
All right. That's this week's Context Machine. I did it right. If you have anything to comment on, add, or question, you can write us at podcast@contextmachine.io. Our bandwidth is provided by CacheFly. The bass is by Dr. Boom, recorded for this show. And
yep, I know. You're waiting for me to say other things. And the first thing I'm going to say is, Bryan, I am so proud of you for hitting the right buttons and saying the right show name.
yay me! I'm all grown up.
Also, thank you to MacPaws Clean My Mac for being our sponsor this week. Use our discount code Context Machine to get your 20% off. Thank you, Clean My Mac.
Thank you, MacPaw. We appreciate it. And everybody have a great day.